All right, so you're thinking about getting into coding, right? You hear all the buzzwords, you see the cool jobs, and you're kind of wondering, okay, where on earth do I even begin? Well, you're in exactly the right place. Let's break it down. The second you actually decide, okay, I'm going to learn to code, you just hit this wall of choices. You've got Java, JavaScript, C++, and it feels like everyone has a very strong opinion. It's so overwhelming that for a lot of people, it stops them cold right then and there, before they even write one line of code. So let's just cut through all that noise. Look, we'll talk about a few exceptions in a bit, but for the vast majority of people just starting out, the answer is Python. And trust me, there are some really good reasons for that. Okay, but why Python, right? What is it about this one language that makes it the default recommendation for so many beginners? Let's actually dig into the evidence and see what makes it so special. Well, the number one reason, and it's a big one, is just how simple it is. Python was literally designed to read almost like plain English. And for a beginner, that is huge. It means you get to focus on the fun part, the logic, the problem solving, instead of getting totally bogged down in a bunch of weird rules and confusing symbols. And you can see that simplicity right here. I mean, look at this. To make the computer print "Hello World" in Python, it's just one line. It's super intuitive. But to do the exact same thing in a language like Java, you need all this other stuff, all this boilerplate code. Honestly, as a beginner, which one of those looks less scary to you? And here's the kicker. It's not just a beginner language. It's also the language that pro developers want to learn the most. Yeah, according to the massive Stack Overflow survey, Python is the #1 most wanted language out there. And that tells you something really important. You're not just learning on training wheels here. You're learning a super relevant, powerful tool that people use every day in the real world. Oh, and another huge thing is how incredibly versatile it is. Python is like the Swiss Army knife of programming. You're not just learning to do one little thing. You can use it to automate boring stuff. You can build the backend for websites, and it's basically the undisputed king when it comes to data science and AI. It really is a tool that can grow with you no matter where your interests take you. You might also hear people call Python a glue language. Now, what does that mean? Well, basically, it's amazing at getting different programs and systems to talk to each other, even when they weren't designed to. Think of it like a universal translator for software. This is a massive reason why it's so dominant in fields like data science. It lets people use all these powerful, complicated tools without having to be an expert in the low-level languages they were originally built in. Okay, so Python is amazing, right? But now I'm going to say something that might sound a little weird. Even with all that, just picking a language, that's not actually the most important first step. No. Before you write a single line of code, there's a much more important question you need to ask yourself. And this question, it's everything. What do you actually want to do with code? Because look, learning to code without a goal, it's like learning French, but having zero plans to ever go to France or talk to a French person. What's the point? You'll lose motivation so fast. But if you have a specific goal, your own personal quest, it gives you a why, it gives you direction, and it makes the whole journey way, way more fun and rewarding. So the real secret here is to match your tool to your quest. It's all about the right tool for the right job. You want to build a website? Then forget everything else for a second. You have to start with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That's the foundation. Are you more into analyzing data or making your computer do boring tasks for you? Then yes, Python is 100% your best bet. Or maybe you want to build a little robot. Then you'd probably start with something totally different like Arduino, which is designed to control physical stuff. All right, so let's say you've picked your quests, you know what language you're going to start with, so now what? Where do you go from here? Well, the good news is the path forward is actually a lot simpler than it seems. Here's a simple 4-step roadmap that just works. Step 1, learn the absolute basic rules, the syntax of the language, and please don't try to memorize everything, just get the basic feel. Step 2, immediately, and I mean right away, build something super small, a toy project, like a tiny calculator. This makes it all feel real. Step 3, go to some practice websites and start solving little coding problems. This is like going to the gym for your brain. Then, and only then, should you start diving into the bigger, more theoretical stuff like data structures and algorithms. So let's just recap the big ideas here. First, your coding journey doesn't start with a language, it starts with a goal. Second, for a whole lot of those goals, Python is an absolutely fantastic, super friendly starting point. And finally, remember that learning to code isn't some giant, scary mountain you have to climb. It's just a series of small, totally manageable steps. Look, the tools are out there, The roadmaps are clear, the online communities are ready and waiting to help you out. The only thing left is for you to take that first step. Honestly, the power to build things, to automate things, to create things, it's never been more accessible. So the real question isn't which language should I learn? The real question is, what are you going to create first?